All right, they did their response. We're going to talk about it in 3, 2, 1. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We've got Russia bombards Kyiv after Putin vows revenge for Operation Spiderweb. Now, Operation Spiderweb in 3 different time zones, and multiple operators actually took drones in containers, had clueless drivers take them to all over Russia, and then supposedly had these things lift off and then hit out about third of Russia's high-tech bombers. Again, $6 billion worth of damage and a third of their nuclear bombers. Russia is very, very pissed. The country's very, very pissed. They're looking at this as a massive, massive event. Well, we were waiting for the response. Now, the response, again, it doesn't seem like we're here, right? And as the president and even the public speaker, the press speaker said, when questioned about the Ukraine and Russia war, she said it's very, very far away from here, right? And that's essentially how they're thinking about Russia versus Ukraine. Now, China versus the U.S., they've been talking about that a little bit differently. But as far as over there, we're not hearing about this. But if you actually look at the numbers of the strikes that they just hit Kyiv with, you're talking about over 400 drones. Now, if you remember Iran's True Promise 2, that was what they called the big, huge, massive response to Israel. That was massive. I mean, if you saw some of the videos, it just looked like hell on earth, missiles coming out of everywhere. That was 300 ballistic missiles and drones combined. This is 400 drones and more than 40 missiles at the country. He urged allies to build pressure on the Kremlin to end its war. Says if someone does not put pressure on and gives the war more time to take lives, they are complicit and responsible. We need to act decisively, Zelensky wrote in a post on social media. Zelensky himself, many are asking on social media, why is he even still president? This is an insane, insane, insane time that we're living in. We're watching the world kind of get lit on fire. Now, before we get started, I do want to remind you guys, make sure to go over and check out EMP Shield. This is a device that can not only protect you against an EMP strike from an adversary, but it can also protect your cars, vehicles, trucks, motorcycles, boats, ham radios, generators, gas, and solar, and even your home against an EMP and a Carrington-level event from the sun. Whether it be from a man-made device, a backpack device, or a sun, you will be able to protect yourself. Marfooglenews.com/EMP, code MARF. The same technology and company is used by agencies like DHS, DOD, and the Dempsey team helping protect the Texas grid. So if you're in the United States, there's most likely a place where, again, by you that is using this technology. So if they are preparing quietly, you should be doing it too. Again, just go check out the Keystone military testing and all of their accolades in the DHS EMP Resilience Report. All right, marfooglenews.com/EMP, and make sure to use code MARF to get $50 off, plus the Liberty sale on top of that. It stacks. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So Russia offers political asylum to Elon Musk. So almost comical.
Yeah, very comical. I doubt he would even consider it. But if you're not aware of the fallout that's going on between Elon and Donald Trump, that's been going on for the last day, really 2 days now. This massive fallout between them. Some think it's staged, some think it's legit, and it got pretty dirty. If you missed it, watch the show on this channel, the previous one. We've covered it in detail, everything that was going on. But coming out of that, the in true Russian style, they're probably laughing and having a field day seeing this happen. Dmitry Novikov, which is the first deputy chairman of the State Duma Committee on International Affairs, made the comments to TASS saying, I think Musk has a completely different game. So he will not need any political asylum. Although if he did, Russia, of course, could provide it. Basically extending that political asylum out to Musk should he want to pick up and move and get away from the Don. So it is very humorous. It's sort of what are the rest of the world looking at when they see the world's richest man go toe-to-toe now with his former buddy or BFF, the leader of the free world, as they call the president.
Now, I just watched an interesting video that just got suggested last night, which was called Mountainhead. It had Steve Carell in it, but it essentially represented the four main billionaires. And again, one of them wasn't a millionaire, so I don't know which one that was representing. But if you haven't seen Mountainhead, it might be worth a watch. I just told Dex about it. It essentially had somebody who represented sort of a Zuckerberg / Elon in it. In that movie, it shows a scene where the whole movie is about basically that the Elon character, which many of the things that he does directly relate back to Elon, releases a AI content creators package that has AI available to everybody that they can just create AI video or deepfakes, right? And that essentially the people in the world is using it for bad things, right? Making deepfakes of presidents saying this, or, having people in another village of two villages that are already fighting and having it look like they've done something bad. And then real chaos ensues. And all four of these billionaires are meeting up at some sort of, cabin. The reason I pointed out is that movie, whether you like those guys and think it was kind of a lefty take on things, it did kind of portray a real life scenario that we are actually looking at with AI. I have seen at least 3 deepfakes of the president this week. I've seen deepfakes of Elon this week that were so real that it really is indecipherable from realistic, if it didn't have such satire being said. Like, it had the president saying, calling kids the R words on it, and saying, that Elon is so stupid and this and that. And to be honest, it's like half the things he said, it's like you wonder, did the president say that? The president has said things that you're like, wow, a president doesn't normally say that stuff. So it was quite an interesting movie, but it also was kind of a picture and almost predictive programming of where we could be heading. Well, where we are heading if they open that up to the public. I mean, it already is kind of. But if it's so easy that somebody can just type in, do this and do this and do that, which that's where it's going, then we're going to have hell on earth. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, especially now since we have all of these countries that are almost in war already. I can't imagine if that was, a tool that was given to the public. It's pretty insane. Now, we talked about this over the last couple days, and everybody's theory about this fight, this fight between Elon and Trump, which again makes me think of like, what if all of this was some sort of deep fake back and forth? But of course, in this case, it's not. Most people think that there is some sort of trap going on, that the president and Elon have worked together and they are purposely throwing the low blows because you got to make it look real, right? Like, hey, if you're the inside man at the bank, they got to punch you and they really got to pistol whip you. If you're going to make it look real, you really got to hit them, right? And maybe they hit them too hard, right? But you got to make it real. Now, people say this because they're thinking now that the both sides are saying, hey, release the EpiPen files, release all of them. We said maybe this is so, he mentions that the president is in the files, that's why they won't release him. And instantly, within 24 hours, every single person on one side is saying, yeah, release him, we want to know what Donald did. And then what people are theorizing is that when they do release him, that Donald's not going to be as in there as they think he is, or he'll be on the flight logs like everybody has already known, along with every other president and high-profile person. But they will end up exposing other people on the other side, right? And this is a trick to get everybody to demand to do it. Well, now what is happening? Dex, what are they demanding Pam Bondi do? Who is yelling at Pam Bondi, and what are they doing with this?
Yeah, Representative Stephen Lynch and Robert Garcia, who have served on the Congressional Oversight Panel, sent a letter to Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel there, demanding that they immediately clarify about the allegations. And this is, again, the allegations that Elon made, specifically about the whether Trump is in the files, which I'm sure he is because he was in the first round of files. But yeah, it's interesting though that you now see Congress starting to push the DOJ based off of this tweet from Elon.
What's crazy to me is like it says, clarify immediately if this is true. Well, how about ask that same question with every single politician out there? Because if they do, I bet you they're going to get the same thing. Well, if they were going to tell you that, they would just release all the files. But they didn't. Remember that Pam Bondi and everybody else said that they were going to release all of these files, and only about 200 pages of them came out, and it was all information that everybody had already leaked on Twitter. So it was nothing new. They even made a big showboat out of it and had like 7 creators that are like, yeah, we got a copy of what was on Twitter. It wasn't that great. We're going to talk about the rest of the story over on Marfoogle TV. If you haven't joined us over there, we are going to talk about mega tsunamis. Again, we're actually covering some really crazy stuff. Huge escalation that just happened. AI equals AI, like an artificial eye. They're actually talking about this. And then World War III update. So make sure to get over there. If you're watching the replay, all you have to do is click here. If you're in the chat, just stay there. You'll be ported over. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.